All right. I'm ready when you are, John.
We're live.
We're live. Yeah,
We're live.
that just happened.
Here we go. Live on a Thursday. That's fantastic. We're 9/9. I thought that's pretty symbolic. 9/9. And even just listening to all of you talk, it reminds me of a topic that is pretty close to my heart, which is balance. So, we were trying to find out different solutions for different things. We mentioned here. So if I mute you and you want to speak, you can definitely speak up. No, I'm just muting if there's background noise. Here we go. All right. And so talking about balance. And so oftentimes when we hear the word balance and we're kind of thinking about that, we'll think about different things like, the scales or a balancing act, or, if we go for yoga, balancing on one leg or balancing on one arm. Those are kind of things that come to mind. But today I want to bring your thoughts towards something a bit different. And so if we think about trying to ride a bicycle with a flat tire, for instance, all right, that's pretty hard, maybe even impossible. And even if we're driving in our car and we have a flat tire and we're trying to drive no matter what, we can definitely damage the car and, creates that imbalance where we might not even be able to get there that very, very far. And one of my favorite quotes from Albert Einstein is, he says, life is like riding a bicycle. And so to keep your balance, you have to keep moving. So it's finding this balance in movement. So it's not like, we're trying to just steadily balance, but we're in this life, in this journey, we're striving for balance. So even if we look at nature and we take some examples from there, nature is always going to try to do things in the most simple and effective way or efficient way possible. And there is going to be this balance. So if we think about night and day, okay, if we think about how water moves and just navigates through the earth, or if we're thinking about the seasons. So there is this innate balance in all things. So for instance, if you even think about environments or habitats, right? And we, ecologically, or we'll talk about that a lot. If you just take one animal or one thing or one plant out of some kind of habitat, you completely disrupt the whole balance of the ecosystem in that space. So, it's simple things like that. You take a rodent and suddenly, the whole thing falls apart, or you take out a specific plant that fed a whole colony or community of animals, and then nothing comes back to the way it was. So we acknowledge that there is this universal balance, and that all things in the universe are moving in relationship to each other. They're moving towards balance. And balance we can think about as also like harmony, right? We're moving in space towards this balance. And so everything is moving, everything, even the things that we think they're stationary, they're vibrating on some level. Some are moving faster, vibrating faster, some are vibrating slower, but they're definitely moving. And it's through, when we're striving to find balance within ourselves and within our lives, bringing it back from the vast into the kind of inner space. So it's through this self-observation or even self-awareness that we can find our middle ground, right? So if we're just kind of moving through life and we're not noticing what is off balance, what is out of place, what needs more attention, we're not going to be able to find that. And really in that space, that middle ground, that is the foundation for thriving life energy. And it's really important, I think, to understand that balance is a moving target. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Balance is a moving target. So today, balance can be one thing, but as individuals, we have to stay open to this experience, to whatever we're going through. And it really is the balance that is demanding or that even deserves our attention. Okay, so for instance, let's not get stuck in our old ways. Or we can say, let's embrace the ebb and flow of life. Okay, so it's in this space that we have to make a decision. We have to discern, where is the balance? Where does balance live in that moment? Where is the balance that we're looking for? Because it's not going to be the same every day, and it's not going to be the same next month. And we were talking about, the fourth quarter, and that definitely is something that really demands our attention. We have to make notice that we're now in this, approaching this fourth quarter, and we're not going to just ignore it and think that it's the same as the whole year. So when we're looking for the balance, when we're looking for that feeling of being whole, being complete, that's when we can experience that sense of harmony. And to quote one of our favorite authors here, Stephen Covey. And so it's, he talks about people struggling with life. So he says most people struggle with life or with life balance, balancing life, because they haven't decided or even noticed what is really important to them. So you have to pause and say, okay, this is what matters most. Okay, we're approaching the fourth quarter, and this matters most. This is what we're here for. This is what we're going to do. And so let's start prioritizing the things that will lead me to my ultimate success and to the amounts of money that we want to put in our bank account or in our bank balance. We can look at that way, right? And he talks about how when we start to notice the different parts in our life, how they relate to each other. And this really hits close to home, because when I'm teaching my Bowspring method and all that, it's all about the relationships. It's all about looking to see at things in a more holistic way. So how all parts in your life right now are moving in relationship to each other. And so for every action that we take, there's going to be this opposite reaction. And that in turn creates an even push-pull effect, which is tensegrity. And that might be a new term for some of you, but tensegrity, this is what I teach. And tensegrity is this even push-pull effect, where we're not fighting forces, but we're using them. We're using that push-pull effect to find the balanced middle. And that's where life becomes light and floaty and more holistic, more balanced, more harmonized. And so to relate to a couple more things that might be more familiar than this term, let's think about geometric shapes. So a geometric shape is balanced. You won't see sacred geometry where there's one side doing one thing and the other side is doing something else. That's like, it's all about the balance, and they're always mirroring each other. They're going to create this perfect harmonic. There is a saying, we talked about the Kybalion in the last space, in that balanced space, that's where there is that thriving life energy. That's where we really, experience this motivation. I know I have a problem with my internet, where we lost power and now it should be okay now. Okay, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. Hopefully you heard the majority of all of it. And so there is this, okay, coming back to my final idea here before I hear from you, and what also sparked my excitement about this topic is to understand that when we're in the center and we're ready, right? We're balanced, we're whole, we're centered, we're ready to move in all directions. So if someone's coming at us with this new idea, with this new mug, or we have to create 100 designs in a quick amount of time because it's the Christmas season, bam, we're ready. We got it. We're balanced. We're right there. We're in the flow, and we can make these decisions and we can get them knocked out real quick. And, when John yesterday was talking about Viktor Frankl, who invented the whole logotherapy and all that, he talks about one of my favorite quotes from him, and I'm not quoting it exactly because I don't remember exactly, but he's talking about how everything can be taken from a man, but one thing. And that's how to choose your attitude in any given circumstance. So you choose your own way. And this is what we can control. So this is creating this space between the stimulus or the what's happening in your life and our response. So we're creating this space. We're deepening that space between what's happening and how we're reacting. And there is our power to choose. That's where we find our growth and our freedom, our ultimate balance point, where we can really express ourselves to our highest. And so that's what we're looking for in life in general. Let's tie it back into our business, because, or even let's bring it first to our physical body. Every breath, right? Every action, inhale, exhale, we're looking for that balance. If we slow down and we begin to notice, then we're able to make an adjustment. We're able to move in a dynamic way, right? Some people can live their whole lives without taking a deep and full breath. That happens. It happens. And when we, tying it all in back together, when we look at life, we have to have some kind of trust that nothing is permanent. Everything is ever changing. So not a deep sadness or even extreme joy. Nothing of that is going to last forever, right? We're going to be on this journey, and it's going to be perpetual change. And, even again, thinking about the Kabbalion, that there's a rise and fall to everything, and everything has its tides. Those are the cycles of nature. And tying it back to Albert Einstein's quote that life is like riding a bicycle. So in order to find that balance, to keep that balance, we have to continuously keep moving forward, moving upwards. That's the direction of evolution. So the direction of evolution is forward and up. And that's how we're moving. And so if we look at our business and how we're preparing for this fourth quarter, because that was where your conversation was at the beginning, we are acknowledging that now is the time for that upward tide. And we're not going to be caught off balance. We're not going to be caught unprepared. We're going to be, as prepared and as ready for this momentum, for this change that is coming our way. We know it's coming. It's definite. And we are going to start collecting. So that's like, reaping the benefits, taking that money, putting it in our bank account and watching that balance rise. And so for our discussion today, just kind of looking at all of these ideas of balance, I want to hear from you. How do you experience balance in your lifetime? How are you looking for that sweet spot, that space where you can create freely, where you can experience this harmony? And maybe you share the places where you're not finding balance, because that is what it's about. It's about this self-observation, where we're looking at ourselves in this holistic approach, where we're able to acknowledge, what sides of our life need more of the push and what sides of our lives need more of the pull. And so that we can find that middle ground to exist on and to really experience the balance. Mark, I'm happy to hear from you. Powerful share yesterday, and I acknowledge you, and I send you, all my strength and love and support in this time. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. What came to me when you were talking about is what control do I have in my balance in my life, and how can I negate that imbalance? And what I look for me is, okay, am I fatigued? Am I tired? Can I look after that? Am I hungry? It makes sure that I fuel my body, making sure that I show up, make sure I deal with the situation. So everything in my control helps me with my balance within myself to move forward in my business and everything I do. But if I'm out of balance, if I'm not looking after myself, if I'm hungry, if I'm fatigued, well, that's something that is going to throw my balance off, and that's totally within my control. And I notice a lot of people try to control other people that they have no. It's not their journey. It's whatever the case may be. It's just not in their control. And take responsibility and deal with what they need to really look at themselves, so they have the balance around them, then they can move forward. But if we pay attention to things outside our realm, then the balance is not going to be there because it's not within our control. But what is within our control, so we can have the best setup for ourselves in business, in personal life, where we have the balance. And that's just taking responsibility, showing up, making sure you're not fatigued, you get the proper sleep, you make sure you feed your body, and you make sure you deal with what needs to be done, what's on your plate, meaning making that phone call, going on and doing that work before your head hits the pillow. That's what I think helps with the balance for me, to negate the imbalance, so it's in my control.
I love that. And it's so important to acknowledge that there are things that are out of our control, right? That, that we're not going to be able to, part of life is fated, and part of the things that are happening to us, but it's that's that idea from Viktor Frankl, where he talks about, we can choose the way that we react. And so you also brought to our attention these simple, let's say, right, daily tasks that you can take, where you were looking at what you eat, what you drink, and how you're relating and what's going on. And so you're able to have this almost bird's eye view on your life and take a look at how all the components and everything is falling into place and affecting you as a whole. And I think that's so powerful, Mark. And I think it's something that we can all listen to and acknowledge, because we all go through those things. And it's like, all right, let's step out from this space of, somebody just put in the chat, angry, hungry, and then look at the bird's eye, this new perspective, this higher vista, if you will, and get this different perspective on life. So I really appreciate you sharing that. It's a great way to look at the balance in lives and try to discern how we're going to move and in which direction. So thank you. Scott, let's hear from you.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is it's quite interesting. I was really trying to grasp where you're going with a lot of this stuff, because I feel like in my case, I've over my time I've become balanced in so many different ways, and how I deal with my existence, I guess. But right now, what I'm dealing with in this balance area is going to this more happier place, and going to this area of gratefulness, and going to this new balanced area of what it is that I'm living in and what I want to have in my life. And so it's like this whole new, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a new ball that's turning over for me in a sense. And I don't know how to explain it, but today I was learning from another book I'm reading and listening to. I've been doing the audibles, which makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
But very excited about some of the things that I'm being revealed to me about who I am and what I'm about too. And I've been learning a lot about the balance of myself within myself. I don't know. It's quite the journey right now, and I'm really enjoying it. And I just wanted to share, what it means to me in this balance area right now. And so I'm really projecting myself right now, I feel, and I'm putting myself there to where I know I'm there already, and I'm going to be there. And that's a hard one, but I'm getting rid of this ego inside of me, I guess, that's been controlling me and giving me my fears. Getting rid of it, getting out of the way. And that's a balance in itself, because I've really been getting tired of tripping myself up. That's about it.
I love your shares, Scott. I love your shares, and I love to hear how your mind works. And it's such a beautiful and blessed journey when we can go on this journey to discover ourselves in a more holistic way. We can see sides of ourselves that we never saw before, which was what you were sharing. And you talk about the ego at the end, and okay, let's get rid of the ego. However, let's remember that, and even if we use this spectrum, this polarity idea of one side of the spectrum. So we have our body and our spirit, and, one is infinite, one is finite. And then we have the ego, which is right in the middle. And that's the one that is communicating. It's like the agent for the communication between the mind and the spirit. So getting rid of the ego altogether, I don't know how that's going to work, but you can definitely find the balance point or communicate the message in a more clearer way, or something
Right.
that, you know, you had said, okay, now like redefining your purpose and where you're headed and all these things. So now, is it integrated with how you're running your life? Like, are you, even your business, trying to bring it back to the business again, are the steps that you're taking, are they balanced and whole in order to lead you to where you want to be with your business, which is, I don't know, $1 million or, whatever you want to make, right?
Correct. Yeah. And that's it. That's, that's my mechanism right now. It's been like I've been building a new machine, creating a new machine anyways. And it's fun. I'm having a blast, but
The fun things of life. I just want to acknowledge Justin put in some of my favorite words into the chat here: equilibrium, homeostasis, and integrity. I love those. And they're all about that balance point, And so, yeah, thank you, Justin, for sharing. Let's hear from Tina, has her hand up. So let's hear from Tina.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself and say hi. I've been watching you guys for a while, and I just wanted to come on and say hi. I do have 2 special need kids, and finding balance is very hard when balance is interrupted. For instance, if my son needs to go to the hospital for, a week, that's hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
And then that resonates with me of, it's in your brain, it's your choice. It's and you can make that choice. I mean, I can dwell that my, son could be in the hospital, but I want to proceed in this business, kind of thing. So it's hard when some things take more of your time versus what you want.
For sure. For sure. And that's such a personal, first of all, thank you, Tina, for speaking up and for sharing your personal life with us. I think that's inspiring. And you are also presenting us with a real life, this is real. My son is now sick in the hospital and this is happening to me. But here I want to make these choices for my financial growth. And I want to go on this upward spiral. I want to move. I want to evolve. I want to move forward. But look, and then that's where we come in with the prioritization, right? Also, Covey talks about it in his book. And it's about, really scheduling the things that mean most to us. And so in that case, you're prioritizing your son's health, and that's how it should be. And you're doing it. But then can you find that space where you can insert some more, okay, let's watch one video while he's asleep, or let's upload 5 mugs while, they're doing some things and I don't need to be present, or whatever it is. You can that's the beauty of our business. This is not true for all businesses, but our business, where we can do a lot of things from our phone, we can do a lot of things from our computer, where all we need is internet, sometimes stable, sometimes less stable. Just keeping it real. And so, you are able to continue your upward movement, even though, or even because you're trying to create I don't know your motives, but I'm speaking in a space from motherhood, because you're trying to create a better life for your children, and you want to present them with new opportunities and with, whatever it is that you're trying to create for your lifetime. And look at that, you can do it, you can do it. And so I think that's empowering. So we don't have to feel disempowered because life is happening to us, and it will all the time. That's where I try to give those examples of like the uptide and the down and the ebb and the flow, and just realizing that is constant and will always be. And so, yeah, I just want to acknowledge you for sharing and for, being brave and continuing on the journey. So it's fantastic. Yeah. Here to support that.
Thank you. I've been watching you guys for a while, and I thought I'll come on and say hi.
Hey, yeah. Wonderful. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Always great to hear from you. All right, Michael, let's hear from you.
Hi. Speaking of balance, I was saying yesterday how great I felt getting everything under control. I had so much energy. Well, I was up till 6 a.m. And of course, then there's this call. So I'm feeling a little out of balance last couple of days because I've been pulling all-nighters, and it's so wild. I'll get a phrase in my head, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta write that down, and then I got to do all the, the mother, father, sister, brother, he, she, grandma, with the phrases, right? Next thing you know, it's like dinner's getting cold. And now like 3 hours have gone by because it's kind of triggered more and more and more and more. So I find that I have to get back to a little bit more balance because I am getting exhausted, and that doesn't work. You don't think clearly, or else you get to the point where you've got all these esoteric ideas, but you can't write them down because like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I don't know. Who cares? I got another idea. So it gets a little weird. So it was interesting you brought that up today, and I was thinking to myself, what have I got to do? Because right after this, I've got a double session with Adam, and I've been using the time that Amazon hasn't been working to make more phrases and launch more products. And then after that, I'm like, I can have a nap, and then I have to go out and do other things. So it's like everything is just, thrown into the blender. So it's important to, as exciting as it is, maybe restructure some of the things that we do. Maybe don't sit down behind the computer. Maybe put them on your phone and dictate them, and say, okay, I'll do that tomorrow because here's my list of things to do. That way I can still complete the things I want to do in that time space. It's exciting. It's just, wow. I really need sleep.
But look at your beautiful share and how you, in this journey that you're experiencing in the last couple of days, you shared the last couple of days. It wasn't, any reflection on anything too far in the past or anything like that. It's really the last couple of days that you shared. And look at how you presented to us how much balance is a moving target. You just showed us, you're like, okay, wow, look, all this has changed. All this is now, now I need to navigate. But look at you doing that juggling act, right? Because you're like, okay, wait, I can work on my business. I do it good at night. And then 1 second, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do my calls, do my coaching sessions, and then I can nap. So you're like reversing the times where, or switching it out a little bit and then juggling it back over. Look, now I have ideas for mugs. I'm writing it down. And so you're able to give yourself, again, that bird's eye view of your life and restructure and create it in a way that is more, that is holistic, that where you're maybe still, wobbling a little bit to find that center point. But when you land on it, right, that's like that feeling of like, oh, okay, I know the space, right? I know the space where everything's flowing, right? You're going to come back in a couple of days on the call and you'll be like, whoa, this is working, this is going, and that's the beauty, that's the beauty of life, where we're ever flowing, ever changing, and constantly looking for that tensegrity point, that point of balance. So that was a beautiful share for us, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gypsy, always love to hear from you. Where is she? Oh, there we are. We can't see you yet, and I have a different view here, so you have to unmute. There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
This is for Tina, and I was thinking that you have to go and do things with your family, with your son in the hospital and stuff like that. While you're there, you might think of things for your mugs, for inspiration for yourself and other people too. It might be a really good opportunity. Other people are probably going through some of the same stuff that you are, and maybe you could be an inspiration to them.
Right. Beautiful. Right. And you can even, present the ideas of your business. You meet people and you can say, hey, or maybe they need coffee mugs for the whole, hospital. And you just, you give them a great idea, or socks or something, so that's, Gypsy, that's beautiful. That's, acknowledging that life is giving us opportunities, even when we are experiencing a level of emotional distress or, just things that we need to deal with. And so actually we can look at it as a new presented opportunity. Of course, we never want our children to land in the hospital, but if this is already happening and this is what's going on, you're saying, wow, take a look, here's this newly found opportunity, and maybe we can make something out of it that actually moves us in this direction of evolution, of forward and up, and creating more abundance for ourselves. So that's a beautiful point of view. Thank you, Gypsy. Thank you for chiming in. Always great to hear from you. All right. I don't see any other hands up. Anybody else want to share? Oh yeah, Pauline. Great. Wouldn't be complete without you, Pauline.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I was just thinking about balance and how it equals no burnout. Because I think sometimes, for myself, Finding the time. Time is one of the greatest obstacle. Well, basically, my work is the obstacle. But I found that yesterday, I've been working from home because I've got a list of stuff that I have to do and have to do at home. And after the success call yesterday, I decided I'm going to just continue and do some work. And I stayed up working on the business till around 1 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, okay, right, that's it. I need to finish now. And I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock like I usually do, and I had my quiet time. And I felt so refreshed that I was like quite surprised. I was thinking, why am I so refreshed? And I put it down to yesterday. So usually I'm a very healthy with my food, but since the lockdowns and stuff, things have just gotten so bad, bored to tears, having to look at a screen and just putting things in my mouth and eating all kinds of rubbish. And this, even though I've tried to shake it off, it's, so yesterday I decided that I was going to really be healthy and just eat everything healthy and don't have any rubbish in my system. And I woke up this morning feeling so refreshed to start a new day. And I sort of did my work, done my work that I needed to do. But I think all of that would help me, that I'm eating right. And usually like in the mornings, I go to work and I walk 1 hour, the whole hour before I get on a bus. And then I get on a bus so that I can travel to work, and only do that so I can get in the exercise in the mornings. But I think, having that balance stops you, because when you keep on going, and I think we need to have a balance to know when to actually stop, so that we don't burn out and it doesn't become so overwhelmed that we're like, oh, this has become too much. So I think the balance is really important. I know it's important for me because I'm trying to juggle work and juggle doing this, and sometimes work is just so much. And juggle looking after my mum as well. She's 95, so it's juggling all of that as well. So, and my daughter is pregnant, and and there's all of these things going on that's coming up, and then there's church and all the responsibilities that I have to do there. So there's all of these things to juggle, and it's just, trying to just sit back, just breathe, and say, well, okay, this is what I'm going to do this day. I'm going to try and get this done. And even if it has been a little bit, I'm not on a fast pace. It has been slow. I'm trying to read the books. Well, I've got them on my phone, so I'm listening to the books. So that's easier. So it's just a matter of pacing yourself and having that balance so that you don't feel like this is just too much and I can't do it. So that's what I have to say.
Well, beautiful, because usually it's beautiful to hear all that from you, Pauline, because usually you're so positive and sharing your, everything that's going right in life for you. And so now you gave us this other aspect. And again, that's a beautiful presentation of those ebbs and flows, of those ups and downs that we'll experience that we know are a given. But being able to navigate that and make it into something that is useful for our business. So you said, okay, sometimes we can step away. It doesn't have to be go, 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 go all the time. You're talking about the burnout. We can step away, we can take a pause, we can take a breather, and then revisit and come back. And we definitely encourage that as part of a program. Another thing you related to was time. So it's interesting because in our society today, time is talked about like a commodity, right? You pay attention, or you give your time away and stuff like that. So it's really related to like a commodity basically. And if I'm offering you a different way of looking at time. So in instances where you're having a really great time and it's really, really fun, time will escape and be really, really fast, right? You can look at an hour and suddenly it's gone. It feels like 2 minutes, or you're looking back at life and it zoomed by, versus when there are like tedious tasks that you need to do and the time just drags and you're looking at the clock and it's ticking and ticking and ticking and the time is not moving and you're just stuck with this whole hour. And so really, if we can look at time as this flexible idea or even elastic, where we can shape it and we can use it in a way where it's not binding us and we're not bound to it in a way that we're bartering with it, but actually looking at it as a more flexible thing or elastic idea, I think that's helpful, because oftentimes I think we're really bound to this linear idea of time and the way that the calendar is and all that. But if we can give us some more, fluidity in that and just elasticity in the concept of time, it's very helpful, for us to live life in that way. I think it's an important view to be able to, and it's a hard one. It's a hard one because we know, 1 second, but I aged this next year and my children are growing and this is happening. And, all of these things are true. But and we need time schedules to schedule trains and meetings and appointments like we did today. But if we're able to look at the concept of time in a more flexible manner, or elastic manner, where we can make it last longer and we can look at it not so linear, it's a healthy view for us for life. So I just wanted to offer you that. Deborah, let's hear from you.
Hi, everyone. This is a perfect topic. I think it is something that I need to hear at least once a quarter. Balance is something I have fought for a long time, until years ago I realized that if Deborah is not right, nothing falls in balance. Your spouse or significant other, your work, your job, your children. So I became very selfish years ago and decided, in planning a day or planning my life, basically, that I would always put me first and put, of course, my family comes next. And I had to put Murphy in the family because he sometimes want to come in and be a member of the family, whether you want him or not. And things just happen. Somebody calls it happens. And so doing that, it has helped me a lot over the years. You talk about Stephen Covey, and I think I have his book even downstairs in a little library, but I do use Franklin Covey. I love Franklin Covey's system, where you get to look at the whole month of planning. And on the side, you can decide what is priority, A, B, C for that day. And it kind of helps me because I also have a condition. I learned to have a coping skill called procrastination. And this thing I could tell by that life is maybe too hard for me, that are getting to the point I just don't want to be involved right now. I'll put it all through procrastination. So, but if I go back to my calendar, it's like your mama said, if you don't do this, you're going to kill your mother. I go back to my calendar, which I call my mama, and I find out that I haven't done something that was a priority. Then I get so guilty. I feel so guilty. So after that, I use that system. And I love the analogy that of the bicycle. And I think I want to name this every quarter. You need to have, how's your bicycle ride, to see if everybody's in balance.
Beautiful.
I envy all of you, you are not. I'm not where you are now. And I'm sitting here wondering, am I in the right group? Or did I do something wrong? What happened? But that's the way for me trying to do flight. So, but I thank everybody for their input, and I'm learning a lot. And just put yourself first, to keep in mind. That means your mind, body, and spirit have to work together. If some of them get out of line, if your body says, I can do this, your mind said, not today. No, you can't do it today. And then your mind will say, I got this, I'm going to do it. And the body said, you haven't talked to the muscles yet. You haven't decided what you're going to do. So you have to decide and be sure your mind, body, and spirit are in tune, so you can handle the things that come up. And I find it helped me, and maybe it helps some of you. With your family, with your children. And I am so sorry. One of the gentlemen had lost her daughter, and you have another young lady talked about special needs children. That's a lot that you have to put into your day. But I just want to say that I'm grateful to all of you and all the input you have. Thank you.
Beautiful energy, Deborah. And thank you so much for sharing and speaking. I mean, you have such a beautiful way of presenting the ideas, and that matters, because we're all sitting here laughing. I was looking through the images, and everybody's smiling and laughing, and that matters. That'll be a way to shift our energy, to change our frequency into a very enjoyable experience. experience. And you've offered us a bunch of different tips, and definitely Covey gets into how to prioritize, and he has all of his diagrams that we can definitely draw from. And you offered us the calendar and to really look at that. And that's definitely an important way. And we encourage that. We encourage you to make appointments with yourself so that you know that you're going to show up. And that way you're creating that balance. But again, just important to say, balance isn't something that you find, it's something that you create. It's not something that's going to come to you and just, oh, wow, here we are. Oh, that's balance. No, we create that in our life. And you had mentioned that right at the beginning of your call. Or your talk. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Deborah. Fantastic to hear from you. Patricia, yay. Come out and share with us. Where are you? You're on mute. So there you go.
There we go. Hi, everybody. Deborah, thank you for saying all that. You reminded me that I need to start working out a program again. I keep forgetting that I'm not 30 years old, that my mind is not 30 years old. And when I was 30, for 12 years, I had 3 hours of sleep a day. That was it, because I didn't have time to do anything else. And I had everything programmed exactly by the minute because I had so much I had to do. And I worked both day and night, same job. And I could do it. I had fun. Stress was like excitement to me, ready to go. And I had everything in order and everything in balance, and I was happy. Can't do that now, even if I want to, and it makes me mad. And the more I think about it, the madder I get. And then I think, well, that's silly to get mad, because all you're doing is stressing yourself, and then you're just really messing up the system, And so I had to get out I have a calendar instead of the way you do it, Deborah. I have a little calendar that I write down everything that I have to do on any particular day. And then I color code, and red means whatever's happening on these days, I got to figure out what to do with the rest of the stuff, because I can't do that. I have to do this red, Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you just have to remember that, I have to remember, not you, that sometimes things are going to get out of balance. And when they do, I have to recognize that I'm doing that. And I have a problem with that because of control. Like we talked about yesterday, I'm a control freak, and I know that. And I'm a control freak for myself. And so I have to stop and say, wait a minute, you got to let control go. You have to ask for help. And that's what I love about this system so much is we have these groups like this that we can ask for help. We don't have to waste time looking for something or trying to figure out an answer when we can just say, hey guys, I need some help here. And people just start shouting out answers, and it's great, and if somebody asks for help and I have an answer, I can throw it out there. And I love that. I don't feel like that I'm on a Zoom call or I'm on a computer program. I feel like we're all in a room talking with each other, and that's what makes this program to me so nice and so helpful, is because I feel like that it's one big happy family, and we're all working together to make ourselves tons of money, and then make Rachel tons of money at the same time, and then she's going to help us make more. It's a circle, which is life is a circle. And if you don't have everything in balance, you don't have that circle, which comes back to the bicycle wheels and I ride bicycles, so I love that analogy. Thank you. I ride mountain bikes. But so anyway, that's what I had to say. Thank you.
Yay, Patricia. I ride mountain bikes too. That's another one of my favorite activities. I love that. What a beautiful, you also took us on a little journey, and we got, down and then high, and then you acknowledged all of us. And that's beautiful, because that's really what we want to create for everyone. We want you to feel supported. We want to create this synergetic experience where everyone coming together is greater than the sum of its individual parts. That's the synergy. And yeah, just like everyone was in the beginning of class asking questions, and everyone was able to help, and that you're not on it in this journey alone. And of course, we have our Launch 100 programs and the everything to offer you that more support, to offer you that guidance and that extra, hand-holding effect, and to take you on this journey so that you can make the millions, just like you had stated, Patricia. So what a beautiful way to kind of paint that image for us. That's fantastic. Always love to hear from you, Patricia. Justin, let's hear from you. The tensegrity with all my favorite words, right? You need to unmute yourself. So let me see. Oh, you got it. Oh, no.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Talking to the dark.
Oh, there you are.
I turned on my video because I got to do a visual share.
Great.
This week has kind of been a time theme for me because I was doing a QuickBooks certification, and the module I was working on was QuickBooks Time. And they're talking a lot about creating time, managing time, exporting time. One of the important concepts for contractors and people in the field was geofencing, where you get the QuickBooks Time app on your phone and your employees have it. Anytime they're within 50 feet of the job site, it asks you, do you want to clock in? And as soon as you leave the job site, if you haven't clocked out, you're 50 feet away from the job site. It says you want to clock out. And I was like, boy, I don't want to be geofenced myself. And then I was reading Scientific American article about the 24 time zones and how at the North Pole, at the very center up there is no time. Two ships could be approaching from two different time zones and then meet in a place of no time. And then this week, this little sundial came in my life.
Nice.
It's an hour exact. And so I can turn it upside down, back and forth, and see what happens within an hour, see if I manage my hour well. But I'm with everybody else on this, that just this daily meeting is worth the price of entry alone. So working with John and you and all this, it's very helpful on a daily basis to clear your mind, because so often people argue for reality and living in reality, or they might get a medical diagnosis and they argue for that reality for years. And so this is a great place where people aren't arguing for limited realities.
I love it. What a beautiful share, Justin. Thank you so much. And I love your board in the back. You got your chakras and the infinity loop and all the good things.
I
So
do.
fantastic.
I got my candle going during this hour.
Yay, yay, wonderful. And yeah, I mean, the topic of time is something that we could probably spend a whole session on. I just kind of wanted to put that in there because I think that we are, the reality of our life and how the structure is, especially when we're in a 9 to 5, we kind of feel cabled or chained by time. It's like, holding us, versus if we can have that more like an integrative relationship with time, and we can start looking at it as more flowing and elastic, and it doesn't have to just be so rigid, then it's a healthier approach. So yeah, thanks for bringing all of that to our attention, because there are those paradoxes in life where we look at time in different time zones. So we're changing our clock back. now we added an hour. Oh wait, we took off an hour. So it is flexible. It is elastic. It doesn't have to be so rigid. But yeah, it's a beautiful share. So thank you so much. Anyone else? We are past the top of the hour. So if no one else has any, John Lavinia, is that what did you point to yourself? No, sorry. So we're past the top of the hour. So if anybody else doesn't have anything important to say, we'll sign off. It's always great to be here with you. I'm excited. Tomorrow is Fun Friday. Unbelievable that we just went through a whole week. It feels like the beginning for me, but here we are. Fun Friday, wear your favorite tie, shirt, hat, show your pets, share a joke, enliven our weekend, get us set up. I see Scott raise his hand. Did you want to share something at the end, Scott?
Just one thing. I'm going to come back into the breakout room after we leave this. So if anybody wants to continue the conversation, I'll be there.
All right. Yeah, and look at that. That's the full support that we're showing for each other. So we have that at the beginning of the call. And if you want to come back after, then you can do that as well. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, John. And